From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Good evening, and thank you for being here with us tonight, and Merry Christmas. I'm Mark Mullins. We hope that you've been able to celebrate safely with family during the holidays. As a result of the pandemic, local organizations have been working harder than ever to make sure Central Indiana families are not going hungry. For many groups, giving back has always been a tradition. WRTV's Nikki Dementri takes us to Johnson County, where for more than a decade, volunteers have been serving up holiday cheer.
The hall inside Grace United Methodist Church in Franklin runs like a well-oiled machine this Christmas Day.
The next one then, Gina, is 2.
Some 50 volunteers spend their holiday making sure neighbors in Johnson County can enjoy a hot Christmas dinner.
It's become part of Christmas. They don't know Christmas without coming to the church and doing this.
Since the tradition started 12 years ago, John Boardman, his wife Gina, and their 3 kids have volunteered. There was no question about coming out to help again in 2020.
We thought about a lot of things that were changing, and the one thing that we wanted to make sure was happening was that the church was going to be delivering meals again this year, because it's something we look forward to every year.
Of course, things look different during the pandemic. Dining in is out. Masks, sanitizer, and gloves are now in. But the willingness to help the community has never been greater.
I think the pandemic has only exposed that loneliness even more. And so the dinner helps to build a bridge to them.
But before the deliveries went out and cars lined up in the drive-thru, an army of volunteers were busy preparing 1,400 meals.
Merry Christmas, Grace United Methodist.
Nina Miller oversees all that goes into preparing the ham dinner.
It's such a rewarding day and such a blessing to all of us.
Christmas Day this year involves more than 430 deliveries and hundreds of meals served through a drive-thru line.
We feel in our hearts that we need to help people. It's what we've been told to do by the Bible.
The volunteers and clergy here are all in agreement. They hope that this tradition continues for many years to come. In Franklin, Nikki Dementri, WRTV.
Thousands of Christmas meals have been served at Grace United Methodist Church over the last 12 years. The giving continued into the afternoon with a drive-through meal distribution. This year, close to 1,000 meals were either delivered or picked up through takeout.
A lot of grateful faces. There are a lot of stories of people who are struggling right now, but also people who are very appreciative of what the church is doing, and they have shown their gratitude just by coming here and by sharing their thoughtfulness of just saying thank you.
And the giving isn't over. Any leftover food will be donated to local food pantries. Time now for your Storm Team forecast. And I got to tell you, on this holiday, it was bitterly cold out there. It was even tough to take the dog out for a walk.
I'm trying to hide it from you, Mark.
What are you hiding there?
No hiding from it. Yeah, 15, that was our high temperature today. That's it. In case you didn't get a thermometer and you knew it was cold, that's exactly how cold. Cold enough to lock in place any of the light dusting and snow showers that we had overnight into Christmas morning. And the temperatures right now, not much different than the high. And they'll lock in here. They're not going to change much, but may actually go up a bit by morning. It's 13 in Indy, 16 in Terre Haute. Temperatures in the morning, 19 degrees, but look what happens. We're back into the low 30s. That'll feel like a heat wave by noon. We'll have more sunshine around. Your afternoon high, 37. That's just the start of our weekend warm-up.
We'll see you soon, Kevin. Thank you. A tough Christmas in Nashville, Tennessee, as residents and officials deal with the aftermath of an explosion that investigators believe was intentional. Right now, the FBI is combing through a massive crime scene. At least 3 people have been hospitalized with injuries from the blast. Daryl Forges is in Nashville with the latest tonight.
The moments a massive fireball rocked downtown Nashville caught on camera.
The early morning explosion was a deliberate bomb being set off in our community.
They heard an RV giving out a message, basically saying that it was going to detonate.
We believe it was a female voice from the video telling people to evacuate the area.
Damaging dozens of homes and businesses and turning popular tourist areas into a scene resembling a war zone.
I consider this a serious and intentional attack on American infrastructure. And I don't know anybody who would do that except a terrorist.
The blast right next to an AT&T transmission building, impacting 911 communications. The motive remains unknown, but some retired FBI agents say first responders may have been the target.
The person obviously did not want civilians injured.
The 911 call said there were shots fired. That tells me that they were trying to lure the police and first responders into the scene.
Police have released this photo of the RV involved, and the FBI has launched a website for tips in their search for clues.
The color of the smoke of the explosion is indicative of a certain type of explosive.
In Nashville, I'm Daryl Fortis reporting.
The American Red Cross has now opened a reception center for victims displaced by that explosion. The Red Cross and IFD are helping the residents of a North Side home that was destroyed by a fire this afternoon. Investigators believe an unattended space heater caused a fire on West 28th Street. IFD says the two people living there were at a neighbor's house and left a space heater on for their dogs. The home did not have working smoke alarms. It's now a total loss, and investigators believe the dogs died in the fire. A perimeter has been set up around the home, which is in danger of collapsing. The house next door was also damaged by the fire. The family living there was not home at the time. Red Cross is helping them as well. COVID-19 vaccines will be available to some nursing home residents next week. We're still waiting to learn when Indiana will have enough doses to move on to other groups after vaccinating frontline workers and people living in long-term care facilities. Today, the State Department of Health reported 40 new COVID-19 deaths and more than 5,500 new cases. 2,900 Hoosiers were hospitalized with COVID-19 on Christmas Eve. This Christmas, an effort is underway to remember IU student Ethan Williams. He was hit and killed by a stray bullet while visiting New York City in October. 2 months later, his father tells WRTV's Cornelius Hawker how friends and family are working to honor Ethan's life and legacy.
After Ethan Williams' tragic death in October, his family began to learn how much of an impact their son had on those around him. His father, Jason Williams, tells me it started at the memorial service.
From Bloomington, from IU, from Chicago, from everywhere. Like, he knew kids everywhere. And the stories were very similar. Hey, Mr. Williams, you don't know me, but one time Ethan said this to me, or one time Ethan did this for me.
Jason even learned Ethan had convinced a young woman to not take her life.
She said, because he called me, I'm standing here telling you this story. And she said, I'm very sorry you lost your son, but I'm here now because of him.
While Ethan will have a lasting impact among those he met, his friends want a more physical way to honor him. And because Ethan loved skateboarding, they had an idea.
After he died, a group of skaters from the community came to me. This was not my idea. They came to me and they said, there's a skate park that's supposed to be built here in the city. We want it named after Ethan.
That's all the motivation Ethan's dad needed to get to work. This video you're seeing now is part of the push to help raise the money needed to name the new skate park at Willard Park in Ethan's honor. The money going toward actually building it. Along with his father, his friends are in the video talking about the person Ethan was. Tony Hawk, the legendary skateboarder, even took part in this video, mentioning specifically something close to Ethan's heart: equity and equal access for all kids. That's the main reason Ethan was on the Mayor's Youth Council of Indianapolis.
He wanted the city to have access for all kids from all neighborhoods to safe places that were well lit, where they could play and skate and do the things that he was allowed to do growing up.
A young life cut short with so much more to give will live on in spirit and in this physical space. His father is leading the charge to make sure it happens.
If we can, at the bottom of all of this, just scrape up a little bit of good and somehow push it forward into the world, because that's what he would have wanted, we're going to fight for that, and we want to do that.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Still ahead on the news at 11, new restrictions are in effect for one central Indiana city as city leaders try to prevent New Year's celebrations that could spread the coronavirus. And then a waiting game for the entire country. Programs many families have been relying on throughout the pandemic are set to expire, but there's no sign of what might happen to the latest federal relief bill.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Right now, bars and restaurants in Fishers are closed, some of them earlier than usual, as part of new COVID-19 restrictions that just went into effect. For the next 2 weeks, businesses providing in-person food or drink service in Fishers have to close at 10 p.m. It is part of the city's efforts to limit New Year's gatherings and slow down the spread of COVID. A federal judge has denied a lawsuit from a group of Indianapolis bar owners frustrated by COVID-19 restrictions. In September, the group filed a lawsuit against the city and Marion County Health Department. They wanted to prevent enforcement of COVID restrictions, which bar owners claim led to millions of dollars in losses. The judge acknowledged those financial hardships and the challenges officials face when it comes to keeping people safe, but she says the plaintiffs presented no legal basis for their case. The pandemic relief bill passed by the House and Senate has the potential to help businesses and families struggling financially, but there's no telling whether the president will sign the measure, which could also lead to a government shutdown and end of several emergency support programs. ABC's Andrew Dimbert is following the latest on the president's decision.
The COVID relief bill now flown to Florida. Its fate will be determined by President Trump. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeting that the 5,000-plus page COVID-19 omnibus spending bill was sent to President Trump, where he's spending the holiday at his Mar-a-Lago resort. All the while, many families don't know if they will even have a home to go to after the holiday.
The fact that Congress has taken this long is an insult to the American people. It is an insult to small businesses, it's an insult to the working poor, and it's an insult to the unemployed.
After Congress negotiated for the better part of 8 months to get this deal done, it's President Trump's move now. Will he sign it, veto it, or do nothing, which would also effectively kill the bill and the hopes of millions of Americans desperate for the economic aid?
It really is a disgrace.
Trump voiced his opposition to the sweeping economic relief effort at the 11th hour after lawmakers finally agreed to terms, taking Capitol Hill by surprise. The president asking for those direct cash payments to most Americans be increased to $2,000, more than 3 times the $600 lawmakers agreed on. Hoping for a holiday Hail Mary, Democrats called a special session on Christmas Eve to up those checks to $2,000, as the president suggested, in a separate bill. House Republicans, though, immediately rejected it. But while Mr. Trump mulls over what to do next, for Americans on the brink of financial collapse, it is all or nothing. Eviction protections, extended unemployment, and those stimulus checks all gone if he doesn't sign. Not to mention that the federal government would shut down on Tuesday. Both sides of the aisle urging Trump to put pen to paper and get this deal done.
When we finally thought that we'd be able to give people hope, that's what people need, hope. Doesn't give a damn about people.
I hope the president looks at this again and reaches that conclusion that the best thing to do is to sign the bill.
Now, if Trump vetoes this bill, Congress could quickly try to override that veto, but time is running out. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News in Washington.
Well, as you know, you've been outside at all today. It's cold. It'll stay cold through the morning, and then we turn things the other way. That's the good news. 13 degrees in Indianapolis and in Greenfield. With the southwest wind, that will keep temperatures from falling off too much tonight. Boy, you talk about perfect timing. I showed up at my dad's house at the same time as Santa Claus today for a little outdoor visit. Couldn't stay outside too long. Temperatures tomorrow and on a Sunday. Warm up. Perfect timing. Last weekend of 2020, warmer air in the weekend arrive at the same time. We'll be in the upper 40s Sunday. Cool it back down Monday and Tuesday, and then push 50 again in the middle of next week briefly. Tomorrow, a lot more sunshine. A lot more cloud cover on Sunday, but we're dry through the weekend, but it is Sunday night that we may see some rain showers. Notice the wind tomorrow, we change directions. Instead of a northwest wind, it'll be out of the southwest, and that'll start to boost our temperature a bit. Saturday, temperature up to middle to upper 30s with the afternoon sunshine. Through the day tomorrow, the wind's not as strong as what they will be on Sunday. There are the high temperatures, all closer to average for this time of the year. Average high is 36 degrees, and we'll vault past that on Sunday with wind gusts 20 to 30 miles per hour out of the south. Despite the cloud cover, we'll still warm to 48 for the afternoon high, and we keep it dry during the daylight hours. I think as we get past the sunset and into Sunday night, our rain chances will increase. We'll do this one more time. We've got Sunday's highs in the upper 40s, and then also, as you'll see in the middle of next week, we'll see a surge of warmth, but in between, temperatures more typical for this time of year. There's an example. Monday, partly sunny, 33. We're in the mid-30s and dry Tuesday. Rain chances will come with the surge of warmth Wednesday. As colder air catches that moisture, we may have a little snow on the backside on Thursday, the last day of 2020. 7-day forecast, we put it all together for you. Temperatures this weekend warm up. 48 Sunday, dry and cooler Monday and Tuesday. There's your rain in the middle of next week. Cold enough for some snow on Thursday. Right now, New Year's Day looks to be dry, partly sunny, and 32 degrees. Hope you've had a great day. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome back here. The Colts have chosen punter Rigoberto Sanchez as this year's recipient of the Ed Block Courage Award. Each year, teams choose one player for this award, named after the head athletic trainer of the Baltimore Colts. Sanchez returned to the field last week after having a cancerous tumor removed. In a statement from the Colts, Sanchez says that being selected for the award is an honor, and he urges others to, quote, always keep going and be the change, end quote. College enrollment rates have declined during the pandemic. Many students can't afford tuition or need to help support their families. Cesar Rodriguez shows us how hundreds of students across the country are getting some much-needed help for Christmas.
Edwin Medina embodies what the Christmas spirit is all about.
I feel very, I would say, happy, excited.
He just received $500, but this college student is not buying Christmas gifts for family or saving for a spring break trip. He's helping his mom.
She doesn't have to decide whether she's going to put food or put a roof over our heads for the month of December. We get to enjoy the holidays.
Medina's mom was infected with COVID-19 in April and was out of a job for about a month.
All the debt just piled on really quick. $1,400 of rent became $3,000 of debt.
Now she works several jobs to provide for her family. Although this undergrad student also works to help mom, it's not enough. The bills keep piling up.
It's actually been really hard for her. It's just her taking multiple buses or trying to find a ride to get to work. It's very stressful on her.
Edwin was one of hundreds of students who received an emergency grant from the ASE organization. The funds were raised from private donors and members to help struggling students.
College is getting increasingly expensive, and with all of the challenges that happened within this past year, especially for our Black and Brown communities, the gap has widened.
Edwin received the aid just days before the release of a report from the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center, which showed college enrollment fell more than 2% overall for fall of 2020. That's almost twice the decline from the previous fall.
I'm happy that someone's able to hear my story and know the struggles that I'm facing.
As for Edwin, he's grateful ASE allowed him to bring some joy to his mother this Christmas.
She feels taken from me, it's taking away from what I'm working at, but I'm like, no, this is what I'm doing this for you.
I'm Cesar Rodriguez reporting.
One's payment and 0 to its signing.
Well, we're a pretty big family here at WRTV. News, engineering, production, sales, even the Indie Hub that serves as master control for Scripps stations across the country. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes than you'd think. Finally tonight, a thank you from the faces of WRTV as we wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Kwanzaa, and a Happy New Year.
Been another year. Time goes by so fast. It was a tough one, yeah. We shed some tears, but you reminded me to laugh. Wanna raise a glass, wanna give my thanks. I don't say the words enough. Just know that you're loved. And here's to you. Here's to you. Still give me butterflies when you whisper in my ear. All those little things you do for me. Show me